Microphone check. 1 2 1 2.
No, and I was gonna say, I'm just sorry. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Oh, this.
Yeah, we needed, that's why I said we needed you for the core. Thank you for coming. Since we're not expecting anybody else, shall we get started?
Oh, that's it. Okay, well, yes, we can get started now.
Okay. We're gonna call to order the Measure PS Oversight Committee quarterly meeting. And we have announcements.
Yes. The city of Monterey seeks to continue to offer virtual methods for public participation in meetings. If you aren't joining us in person here in the council chamber, there are two ways to virtually participate in this meeting. You may join the meeting directly on Zoom Gov using the Zoom app on your computer or mobile device, and you can also call into the Zoom meeting. To join the meeting on Zoom on your computer, smartphone, or telephone, use the link or phone number on the agenda at isearchmonterey.org. Since the meeting has started, you'll find the agenda under the Recent tab. To call into the Zoom meeting, dial toll-free 833-568-8864, then enter meeting ID 1068-195597, and if prompted to enter a participant ID, press pound. Detailed instructions on using Zoom are available on monterey.org/public meetings. To make a public comment using the Zoom app, you can virtually raise your hand by pressing the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. If you dialed in by phone, raise your hand by dialing *9, then unmute yourself when called upon by dialing *6. You must do both. Public commenters will be muted until it is our turn to speak. I will call on each public speaker in the order of their hands raised. Please stay within the time limit that will be established for today's meeting, which we will show using a countdown timer on the screen. If you are connected live on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. Today's meeting is also streamed live on the city's YouTube account, which is accessible at youtube.com/City of Monterey with an approximate 10-second delay, and on Comcast channel 25 with up to a 90-second delay. As always, we look forward to receiving public comment.
Thank you. We have public comment now, which is allowing public to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any subject which is within the jurisdiction of the Measure P and S Oversight Committee and which is not on the agenda. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment, but would you like to start with roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay. Patrick Aldinger,
Here.
Justin Chang, Carol Trebajian,
Here.
Nick Sina, and Rick Hoyer.
Thank you. Start then, if we could, with the approval of the minutes from October 10th, 2022 and January 23, 2023, please.
So for reviewing these together, I was not present in October, but I was in January. Happy to make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Do you have any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. And could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Rick Aldinger,
Yes.
Carol Trebajian,
Yes.
and Nick Sina.
Yes.
Thank you. Measure passes unanimously with those present. Next is the review of the unaudited expenditures from July 1, 2022 through March 31, 2023 for conformance to Measure P and S language.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. So we're going to go through the package, like the first sheet has the revenues and expenditures for the first quarter, actually the third quarter through March 31st, 2023. We have total revenues of $6,983,638. Our expenditures, storm drains, 46,718. Sidewalks, 431,038. Pavements, 2,103,530. And ADA is $433,024 for a total of $3,014,310. We turn to the next page. We will have the revenue status sheet, which shows our year-to-date. We have estimated budgeted 11.68 million for revenues, year-to-date revenues as of March 31st, 6.9 million, and we are at 59.79% of expected revenues. The next page shows the storm drains of what was spent. The details of what was spent, we have 28,000. And then for labor costs, we have an additional 18,000.6, which gives us the 46.7 thousand. Moving on to sidewalks, we have total and projects of 182,436. And in labor costs, 248,601, which gives us a total for sidewalks of $431,037.93. For pavements, for contract, 1,948,742. And then for labor, it is 154,787 for the total of 2.1 million. And then for ADA, we have $390,006.55, and for the labor cost for ADA, $43,017.89 for a total of $433,024.44. Those are the details of the expenditures. If you have any questions.
I do.
Yeah.
Just a couple here. I'm looking on storm drain. And but down the list, that's for waste. Maybe I dismiss this. But it looked familiar to me. If we get just a brief explanation of what that item is.
Is that on? Okay, just barely. Thank you, Tom Hardy, the acting city engineer. The storm drain project that we had this quarter is the Iris Canyon sediment removal. And one of the items that we needed to do was sample the sediment that's out there to see which landfill we needed to take it to. So that's what that cost was for.
Fair enough. And then the other question was on pavement section, West Coast Arborist citywide tree maintenance. Is that directly associated to the pavement project, or my question is, does that belong in this under measure PNS expenditure if it's citywide tree maintenance?
I'll have to take a look at that because there were a lot of trees that were addressed back in January and February. So we'll have to look and see which one they came in. We can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That I have a question and a couple of questions and two while you're there.
Mhm.
Under ADA, and this is again a citywide curb ramp. What is that again? Citywide have to do with ADA with Measure P? Yes.
Yes, this would be under the ADA project of Measure S, and the curb ramps are the ramps that come up from the street. They are the ADA curb ramps that
Okay.
we're constructing. So the citywide project just means that they occur
Okay.
citywide.
And then what is, and I don't think I've seen this, maybe I'm not, downtown curb ramps. What is Franklin Street? Needs a peer review? What's a peer?
Peer review, so, yeah, we have a
Street looking at it
design.
To see how, I'm envious of the way you look.
We have a design for that project and we wanted to send it to another engineering consultant to review it and see if there were any other comments that they could pick up and just want to make sure that it's a complete and valid design.
Because I don't think I've seen that in the other ones. It's in ADA and it was twice in ADA in August and then in December for
Mhm.
Franklin Street. Okay,
The Franklin Street one is the signalized intersection project. So it's pretty complicated. There are some right-of-way issues that we're working on. We need easements and rights of entry and things like that. So it's become more complicated than just like installing a ramp somewhere. There's just other issues that need to be resolved in addition to the signals,
okay,
which themselves are complicated.
okay, thank you. And then I think that's for me, but then I have a question about, then again, I don't know, maybe I've missed it, they've been under projects, and I think this is for Rafaela. Project, let's go with ADA here at the end of it. Project 35C1555, and I'm assuming that means labor overhead. There's labor overhead in it there and in pavement. Has that been something that has been? I don't think I've seen that before. Because aren't we paying, what is labor overhead? The cost of the PG&E or the CalAm for the offices that they're in, or what is that? Because we're already paying for labor and benefits for each individual employee.
No, that line is just the total for everything that's in the pavement and also it's just that one particular
Have you ever
project
seen
number.
that one before?
Can you,
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
remember.
can you hear?
I don't remember seeing that before.
It may just be the way that it's printed out, but it's just the total. It's the total of the salaries and also the projects. I think the way that we record it in our books is that we have one project number for each individual section.
So that under the labor there and with the names, that would be the total. I didn't add it up. That the same under pavement, the project labor overhead, the 61,377.59 is the total of all of those employees that are listed above. The labor,
You said on pavement,
it's the last thing.
under pavement, I saw 154,000.
Yeah, but
Or-
right above that, see, it says project 35C1553 lab. Oh, I said it was lab. All of a sudden I'm like, well, I wonder if that means labor, not a laboratory.
Sure, it's labor. I'll have to double check that.
Yes, please. And it's there and it's under ADA as well.
I see it. Okay.
And well, yes, I'm sorry, and it's under sidewalks as well.
Good catch.
Nick, you got something? I think that was all right now that I have. I saw plant supplies now, but no more Mexican rock. Anything else?
Oh, I have.
Any further discussion?
The general potholes and things like that, or general maintenance, routine maintenance, is that covered in this specifically as well, or is that separate?
I'll check that one too. I'm sorry, I'm still new to this program, but the streets department is the department who does that. So I'll just confirm that those charges were included in here. They should be.
Okay.
It should be included in the, or should not?
Should.
Should be.
Well, that's my understanding today. So I'll find out.
Anything to do with streets, storm drains and sidewalks has to do, is this.
Street repair, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And oh, I do have a question, Rafaela, about, so through 3/31, 6,836,529. That's 3/4. Are we still behind a quarter then? Because to get to what you're projecting, the 11 million doesn't seem feasible in 1/4.
No, we will always be at least.
It is a quarter behind, right?
Yeah, it roughly comes out to be about 2 months behind because so like, whatever revenues that we have during March will be basically calculated in April, and then city won't receive it until the following month.
Okay, because to get, as I said, to get to what you're thinking for the 11,637 is going to be,
Yeah, we won't get that final payment for this fiscal year until like August.
okay, all right. So that's what I was thinking first. I'm like, oh, we're behind.
No,
And then we're just behind in receiving the revenue.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Then could I have a motion to accept the as presented, this report as presented?
Motion. Second.
Have any discussion? We have any public comment?
No public comment.
And could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Rick Aldinger,
Yes.
Carol Tribajian,
Yes.
Nick Sina,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously with those present. Next, we have the unaudited periodic report for the period of July 1, 2022 through March 31, 2023.
Okay, thank you again. I want to point out there's one mistake in this, it's my fault, in this report. In the middle of the second paragraph, it says from inception through December 31 is actually through March 31st. So we'll make that correction.
Okay,
So the numbers everyone else and dates everywhere else is correct. So as we talked about the revenues through from this fiscal year from July 1 through March 31st, including interest is total 77 million, 96,473. And for total expenditures for the same period, 63,100,762 from inception. And then for the period from July 1 through March 31st, for the first 3/4, we have revenues at 6,983,638. We also have expenditures a total of 3,014,310. And so our revenues over expenses, we have additional 3,969,000 that increase to the fund balance. And then we have our projects that'll continue going. If you look on the second page of this as a year-over-year comparison, this same time last year, we came in with revenues of 6.5 million as compared to this year's 6.9 million. So we're about 7% over the same time period from the year before. And then expenditures, this time last year, we had spent 1.7 million. This year, we've spent 3 million. The biggest increase, of course, is in payment. So that is the financials for this period. Have any questions on this part?
None from me.
questions?
No.
Any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. And could I get a motion to accept this report as presented?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Oh, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Rick Aldinger,
Yes.
Carol Tribajian,
Yes,
Nick Sina,
Yes.
motion passes unanimously with those present. Next, review of street rehabilitation and reconstruction reports.
Thank you, Tom Hardy, again. We included this month or this quarter, just a list of all the streets that have been completed, separated from the streets that have yet to be worked on and are working on just coming up at that. The first meeting I attended here was back in, I think it was September last year, was the fall quarter last year. And I know you had questions back then, and we've been struggling to get traction on that. Recently, we've hired and have under contract now a consultant who will be out in the field doing the work that we have just been unable to handle as staff. So starting next month in June, our consultant will be out driving around and updating the street saver programs. So we'll have better, more accurate numbers. There, as we go through the data, are just always finding issues, as you pointed out, back in September or whenever that meeting was last time. So we'll be making better progress on this next time.
Okay.
That's really the biggest thing. Not much has changed since last month. We have just the projects that we've gotten. We've awarded the Sidewalks Phase 7 project, which will be in construction. That's for the downtown area this summer. We've got the Iris Canyon sediment project, which is a storm drain that will also be occurring this summer through the beginning of October through October.
Okay.
And those are the big projects we're working to get. We will have RSR, the road surface repair projects. We're working on one to get out this month is the goal, to get it out for the new Monterey neighborhood and a couple of streets in downtown that were that we didn't hit last time we were in the downtown area. So wrap those up. And then also RSR 4 we put out last summer. We did not accept the bids that we received on that one because we felt they were very much higher than our estimate. And I guess since then we've learned that this is just where the industry is right now. So that will be going out. We have added Lighthouse Avenue into that project. So that will be done also hopefully this month. But that one, so by the time we meet next time, we'll have a couple of projects that will at least be out to bid. We'll know where we're going on that. We will have our consultant will be out and have completed their surveys of the streets. We're going to be driving around and just taking notes and updating our street saver a database. So we'll have some better numbers for you next quarter, or at least more information.
So I have two questions. One, the bids, were they as a result of our people busy and they're gonna jack up the rates, or is it asphalt? Or a combination of the two?
To be honest, we don't really know. That's the honest thing. What we felt last summer and looking at them is we've put plans together and put them out. We're thinking that maybe the plans weren't up to par. And so that was one of the reasons we said, let's pull it back. Let's get some more detail on the areas that need to be, well, we call them dig outs, but there are areas where the pavement is starting to fail and we want to replace those. And so we felt there wasn't enough information on that. Since that time, however, we've received a couple other project bids on other projects, and just the pricing has increased a lot over the last, over the last year, it's increased a lot. So at this time last year, that project I think was about 800,000 over the engineer's estimate, which we figured was too high and didn't know why. We thought it was the plans, but since then we've received several other projects that have been bid on, and they're all about the same. So we're having to adjust all of our pricing to reflect just the current state of the economy and the construction industry right now.
And can you tell us, is the increased costs, are those due to material cost increase or labor or both? Are the contractors so backed up that they're just charging premiums labor wise, or is it cost of materials as well?
I'm not a contractor, but my understanding is that it's all of those. I know materials still, the supply chain still has issues. We are still having to wait a lot longer for materials than we used to. It's hard for contractors to get employees and get labor. So that's an issue that's just raising prices. And just with all of that, everyone is struggling with this as well. So it's just all, my understanding is it's all just adding up to be where we are right now.
Okay.
No one specific thing that I could point to say like, oh, because of this. No, it's pretty much everything.
So is this going to then affect our ability to, well, I guess in the span of S, affect our ability to get closer to getting the pavement condition to where we want it to be?
We will finish it. I think because the pricing now is increasing. We'll see what happens with the economy in another year. It could be dropping off to get things done and currently moving forward. It's more expensive than it was a year ago. And then we'll have to just wait and see what happens next year. Hopefully it will moderate. Moderate.
So it was, you said last summer it was like 800,000 over, which they thought was, is it the same amount over? Is it less worse, more worse, the same worse that it was last summer?
So we haven't put another similar project out. We'll find out because the same project will be going out. We've added Lighthouse Avenue into it. So it will be a larger project. So you would think the unit pricing, well, we'll find out what happens to the unit pricing, but normally that would drop as you get more quantity in, but we'll see what happens with that on that project. The other projects that we bid are really not comparable to that one because that was like just a slurry. We were trying to use the rubberized chip seal for that. We had a grant to use that. So it just, they're not comparable projects.
Oh.
The other two.
So we'll find out this summer.
Yes. When we put that one
For
back. up a bit.
800,000 to more will look good comparatively. I don't know.
Well, yeah, now we'll account for that 800,000 and we'll see how well we do this summer.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
had to make changes to the bid process, or have changes been made to, is there other methods or, such as, like you mentioned, you've added Lighthouse, so theoretically you would expect the per unit price to go down, has that been looked at, going bigger than that, or, other vendors, other areas, other methods of bidding or putting out, or is it, we're continuing on our path?
We're continuing on a path. We are looking at other options. We're trying to get smaller projects out right now just to get some progress done and trying to keep things moving. One of the things we've done is used an online bidding process, which I think makes it easier for everyone to bid on and look at the information that's there. That's been new within the last year, but we're looking at anything and
Are more
everything.
vendors coming on? I've just, just
I was going to ask that.
looking through these things over, X number of years, you similarly see Witten Engineer, Don Chapin, and so are other vendors that are also introduced, or have they come in and, solicited, I guess, or?
Yes. Yeah. We've had projects. The last one, I think we had put me on the spot because I can't remember a year ago, but I think there were about maybe half a dozen vendors. And I know people were interested from Central Valley. And so people were looking at the project and asking questions about it. So it's not just the local area as well. It's as far as people really, if they want to come here and work, they'll be submitting a proposal to us to review to do that.
So it's not like you just have one or two people bidding
No.
on it and then you're having a lack of bidders.
It may end up being that way, but my sense is no, that there are a lot of people looking at the projects because now, I mean, with this it's an online platform and somebody from, Iowa could be looking at our projects and trying to figure out whether it's worth it for them to come over here. We haven't had any like bids from that far, received any proposals, but we have received a wider area recently, You know, we've gone up to the Bay Area and the Central Coast. And I remember last summer speaking with someone from, I forget where he was, the Bay Area or the Central Valley, but there was interest in the project. Interest doesn't always translate into bids received for the work, because some people realize like, oh, you know, just travel and what other expenses they may have to perform the project might be prohibitive, or their schedule. It could be a lot of it too right now. Just everyone's busy.
I had a question about, the document that has the current PCI status of work that's been done. At the bottom, it says is current as of April 5th. So they have assessed all of these expired since April 5th, or like how current?
Basically, prior to April 5th, we pulled the report on April 5th, and this is what. So the first one is all the streets that have been completed.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking
Yep.
about. So there's the current PSI. So like the very first line there, Alta Mesa Circle. Current PSI 40, maintenance date, I assume that's when it was happened or logged or something, was April of 2016.
Which means that the pavement condition would most likely be lower than 40 because it's been 7 years.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, is the maintenance date's the date it happened. And
Yeah,
the
it's
current
PCI
PSI
current.
is dated sometime after April of 2016, but before April of this year.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. So basically, the process with Alta Mesa Circle, I'm not sure what it was before, but after the work was done, we plugged in. It increased based on the work that was done. It was a slurry seal, right?
They
So,
increased it to 40? Is that what?
well, no, whatever it was back in 2016, over time, the program calculates how much it's like dropping each year, each
that,
quarter, each day. As well.
So it's some kind of a computer program or a mathematical process. It's not somebody out there on Alta Mesa Circle like,
No,
this is a 40, this
No.
is a 41. This is some algorithm. that
So
is-
it was done in
correct.
April 2016, and the program is calculating that having done that, then the current PCI should be 40%.
it's a 40 PCI. It's just a number.
Yeah.
Yes. And when it was constructed, it might have been 48 or 52 or
Right.
something. But yes, over time, it just degrades.
Means it needs to be, but the lifespan of slurry seal is only like 6 years.
Yeah,
7 years
6 to
anyway, so
8.
it's like it now probably needs to be redone.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Which brings me to my question about, the two documents. First of all, this one, the work that has been
Completed.
done is
Yes.
sorted by PCI, which is really helpful and nice. Thanks for doing it that way. And I guess the good news is that's a much longer document with more entries than the ones that are stated as needing reconstruction as of now.
Mhm.
So my question is, but comparing the two documents, we have for example, on the projects that have been done, there are several there with lower PCIs than the other document stating that these streets need maintenance done on them. And so I guess I'm asking how that is going to be prioritized, even though these have been done already. Might these be prioritized more highly than some of these that still need it, although have a PCI of 70 or 75?
Yes, we've been looking at that as well, and just trying to find really what's the lowest hanging fruit, we'll call it.
Mhm.
Yeah, to identify those. Yes, and we have discussed already. We've been looking at like beginning again with the ones that we started back in 2015.
Right. And to that, my earlier point about, this one being sorted by PCI
Mm-hmm.
grade or level, if we could do that with this one as well, it's just for me anyway, it's an easy way to look at it.
Yes.
Because I
Yeah.
have a question about how, and I'd say like my neighborhood on Fremont, where you've got a bunch of zeros. Why would it, is it just that they haven't checked it, or is it actually, I know it's not that bad. It's not great.
Is it
but
a
it's not
dirt
that
road
bad.
now?
Yeah.
It is not that bad. And they finally Seaside down by Safeway on the both sides of Canyon Del Rey. Seaside is finally, because I know I've said it before, I've complained about that. And then I got that's not Monterey. So now Seaside has filled that in, and now we kind of, that's where it's going, like Casanova, Hannon going back on Fremont
Mhm.
is not great, but it's not that horrible. Why is it zero?
No. Because it has not been inspected and entered accurately.
Okay.
That's the thing. And so that's why we've hired the consultant to do that. We've been trying like since September to get out there and just spend time doing that, but we're challenged that way. So we brought someone on. They're scheduled now to go out in the field the first or maybe the second week of June. So we'll have more better information for you at the next meeting, at least to tell you what they found and just kind of general things. It may take them longer to get the information into the database, but we'll have made a lot more progress than unfortunately we have since last September.
Because now Fremont, we need to catch up with Seaside now over there.
Yes. And the one, the project that we put out to bid last year was for Fremont. Well, not North Fremont, but Fremont.
Oh.
Just between the freeway and Munris and
Okay.
also Munris. So that piece will be addressed.
Yeah, I'm looking at them like, the streets aren't that bad over
No.
there.
No.
Would these be done as group based on street? Is that why the needs list it's organized by street? So like Aguajito has a 75 and then, 0, those haven't been assessed. But is the intent like Aguajito Road, those 5 segments would be done together? Or it's just coincidentally?
If it makes sense, like this one just came out, it looks to me like it's alphabetical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The undone list. And Aguajito, like the portion that's right down by Fremont, that's a very busy section. So that one would want to address first. As we get further up the hill, less traffic, it's less of a low hanging fruit. It's just, we're looking at all that. So it may be that they all get hit at the same time, but it's not that they definitely will, but they may be. It just depends on actually each street.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Well,
Mhm.
so actually, we don't know if it says 0. You don't know that it's some blocks, say, could be at 70 or 75, some could be at 40, so it isn't 0 just means you haven't looked at it. It doesn't mean they were all in the same condition.
Correct. That's correct. And that's what we will be having our consultant work on this summer. Well,
Are they
next month.
starting specifically with the ones that haven't been seen before? Or
Yes.
just doing it in total overview?
No, they're starting with the ones that are 0. And we're going to hit those first and just like get them up. So it should help the overall PCI. We'll see by how much.
What right now is the overall PCI?
I told it this morning and it says we're at 68. And so it did not change from last year, which it also said was 68. And I was thinking we were at 69. So I'm trying to figure that out. But
Well, you do have this situation here where something is slurry sealed 6, 7 years ago, and that's going down and other stuff is going up. So that, like, to me, that is not awful. And it does make sense because you've got to be looking again at some of these streets. It's like time again to slurry seal.
yes, yes,
If it
exactly.
dropped 10 points, then I'd say maybe we
What
need to look at it. But
Right.
that being that close, I'm not as concerned about that.
Right. And I was just looking at the historical back in 2018, we were at 63. And then 2019, we went up to 66. And then 20 and 21, we were at 69. And now we can see with the age, we're down to 68.
Nick,
Yeah, the streets on the needs work. These were all, this is not a list of all the streets in Monterey, so that makes me, all of these were intentionally put on here.
That
All right,
were
then each
completed.
Segment is that needs rehabilitation. So streets that need rehabilitation and reconstruction, the ones that need the work, not have already been done. So each of these segments, so like Aguajito Road on the first page, from Fremont Road to Glen Circle.
Glenwood Circle.
Glenwood Circle there. That was put on this list, that like line item is identified, and that's at, say, 89.
Mhm.
So why would that, how would that be there? Like, how does that make this list?
So we haven't done anything to it since 2015. So that's how it made the list.
But if
They-
the current PCI is at 89, is that the metric that is that the only metric we're assessing it by, or is there another metric that it gets assessed by?
It might, should say, rather than needs rehabilitation, that either hasn't been touched or needs rehabilitation. Because it's got a little bit of a misnomer in the fact that it's saying, at 89%, yes, why why would you have something at 89% that needs it? It's something that either A, hasn't been touched in any way or needs rehabilitation.
Yes.
That makes it a little clearer, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
I like
did you get your
Okay.
answer out of that, or?
Then I guess, yeah, kind of, but then why does it need work? If it's at 89,
Well,
just because it hasn't had it, like, and everything needs it, or like, why does it need it?
no, we will maybe prioritize something else that does need it more.
So
And
this is the
something
list of
over
streets
this.
that haven't received.
Correct. Correct.
Got it. That, okay, I follow that.
And they said, and I always remember them when we started with P, saying that with the teachers that were on the city council, that 75 is very good. And I'm like, 75 if you're a teacher is a C, that's average. But in PCI, 75 is very good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not I don't know if you can get 100. I have to learn more about that. But yeah, so the 100 is not the goal. It's just to get everything. We're trying to get all the streets up to a level that's good. And I'm not sure it relates like the way that grades do in school. That is 75, as you said. Let me see if it shows me thing. But a 75 is actually a good condition. You're right.
Well, 89 is really good. What did we do to Aguajito Road between Fremont and Glenwood Circle? Or did someone else pay for that?
It could have been done with Caltrans. I'm not aware, but yeah, it was built, constructed well.
Okay, thank you. Rick,
I'm good.
Nick,
Thank you.
Yes, yeah,
thank you, Tom. This helps a lot.
good.
And again, if we just clarify that it's like, this is stuff that either A, hasn't been touched, or B, needs to be.
Yes,
Because again, somebody be like, just what Nick said, it's like, well, why would you be wanting to do something when something is much lower? Something that's already been done is much lower.
yes,
Would you want to touch the way? Okay.
that makes sense. Thank
Yep.
you. Mhm.
And then so by June, by our next meeting, will we have the opportunity then to see more on this with the zeros? Will that be done? How long is that project going to take for the consultant to do the?
They said that they could do the field work in less than a week.
Okay.
But then it's a matter of how long it takes them to enter the data in. So it depends on the date of our next meeting, as well as how quickly they can like get someone working on it and updating the spreadsheet, the data. It's actually an online thing.
Okay.
So at a minimum, I'll be able to report on how the field assessments went, where what general like information that they found. I can relay that information. It may not all make it into here, but we'll certainly give you what we have at that point. Hopefully it will, but It's on them. I'm sorry.
Anything else?
Nope.
Can I have a motion to accept?
It's your
These-
turn next. Motion to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
We have a roll call, vote, please?
Yes. Rick Aldinger,
Yes.
Carol Trabajian.
Yes.
Nick Sina,
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously with those present. Thank you very much. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? We have any public comment?
no public comment.
Great, thank you. Then I would move to, just one thing, our next meeting date is July. Eleven? July 10th?
July 10th, Monday, July 10th.
Monday, our next meeting is Monday, July 10th. Everybody put it on their calendar,
Got it.
please. Okay, excellent. And thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Thanks, Raphael. So, and Suze, you're gonna let us know the labor, what those, if that, oh, I can you actually get a calculator out too. I can actually do that. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Are we adjourned?
We're adjourned. Yes, thank you.
Hey, so what